Welcome, good people, to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast in the evening. If you are a follower of our podcast, you would have saw that I was on at 8 o'clock this morning. This is what happens when you're a older person. I got up and thinking that it was 8 in the evening, and I did a hour and a half podcast, an hour and a half podcast, thinking that it was still at night until realizing at 9:30 that it was still bright outside. But I had to finish up. I had to, you know, I, I had to finish the thing. That's the weirdest thing I've ever done. Just to let you know, doing the whole podcast thinking it's in the evening time because I woke up out of my slumber. You know how you wake up in a start, Jacquari, and oh man, and that's what I
Oh
did.
shit!
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
Keith
got up, man.
Armstrong. Go ahead, Jacquari.
I've got up and got in the shower, got fully dressed for work, man, at night, and then about halfway out the door, man, I realized, like, dang, it's seven at night.
Yeah, I think what I realized from this is that each and every human being has at least one time to be an airhead, and that was mine. You know what I mean? I'm Keith Armstrong, one of your hosts of the podcast, along with
Uncle spoke.
uh, Damon. Damon is under the weather, and he won't be with us tonight. Hopefully, brother, that you get over, the little sickness, man, and come back strong, man. Love you, bro. You get better.
Yes, sir.
To do some house cleaning, housekeeping, not house cleaning. Cleaning house if you're going around laying people off or you know what I'm saying, throwing out demerits and shit. It's housekeeping.
Mhm.
Make sure you go to our YouTube channel by the name of Strong Perspective Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. Do us a favor. Just go ahead and do us a favor and do the things that we need to do. Like the folks that my 1,700 friends, if you just so happen to see this, that's why I'm saying it early. You just so happen to see this, go to the YouTube channel, click that like and the subscribe for us. Please do that for us, because what it'll do is, whether you like the show or not, which I know you do, you just in a healthy life situation where I'm busy, gotta make things happen. You're on that kind of vibe. I get it. Cool. You don't have to watch, but take that 30 seconds and subscribe to our stuff, please. We would definitely appreciate it. What you think, Jaquar?
Yeah, I think they would, man. But I mean, not that I ever asked a lot before, but I'm not asking no more, man. I mean, it is what it is. We're out here, and I think we've established ourselves, for what we are, and the people in our lives, the people that we know. You know, I think I don't want to put any pressure on them, I didn't want to put any pressure on them, and I still don't want to put any pressure on them about participating in everything, man. But it's disappointing. It really is.
Uh, yeah, and I see where you're coming from. I think it's because the kind of person you are, more than anything. Because if somebody asked you to come on the podcast and it wasn't really your thing, you would tell them right off, right? Or you would come on, just to, just to support. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Me personally, I ask the majority, and this is true. I ask the majority of the time so nobody feels left out,
Mhm.
just in case they have some secret desire to be on a podcast. So I ask everyone that I know. I hope they don't think I'm being desperate by asking them, but
Mhm.
really and truly, I'm doing it out of home training. Like when in the South, and I see this more in the South, but it may occur in the north, right? But you sitting there, you're on your last couple bites of food, and your friend walk up, and you look, your face greasy, and you look like you
Mhm.
chowing down. They do this in the South now, which is always struck me as being hilarious. They'll look at you, say if it's a breakfast biscuit,
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, Strong, how you doing? Have some?"
Have some.
Yeah.
Come on, have some. I
Now,
don't know this shit.
I think that is great home training.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But also, you have to be aware enough to say, "No, man, I'm good." You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like he 2 or 3 bites away from finishing, and
Mhm.
like I said, his face is greasy. You know what I'm saying? And in your mind, unless you're starving, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. Look, bro, you just
But people,
you just decided to take one for the team, and you asked me if you want some because guess what?
it's
I'm
not enough.
taking it. Like,
Yeah, either I'm either taking it or it's not enough.
yeah,
But I mean, just like it's hospitable to offer or whatever. People don't know how to accept that and say, no, I'm fine, or oh, is that all you got, or so and so, such and such. I mean, you realize you just walked up on this man when he was enjoying the last parts of his meal and he offered it to you.
yeah.
Okay, now whether he was sincere or not doesn't make a difference.
Does it? It doesn't.
It doesn't make a difference. I mean, social contract says that he extended his hospitality,
Yeah,
without a real expectation for you to take it,
yeah,
because according to home training, even though he offered it, and you've seen this, the circumstances, you're supposed to be mature enough to say, yeah, man, I appreciate you, thank you for extending yourself like that, but not this time. And enjoy what you have
exactly, exactly.
instead of wanting a piece of what somebody else has got. Selfishness, man. Selfishness is the root of all the evil. Not
And,
necessarily.
and you know what I've always understood too is it's okay not to say anything. Also, where you're on your last couple bites, especially if the person is standing there in silence,
Mm-hmm.
finish up. Excuse me for a second, bro. Let me just get this done. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Finish up and do because it's okay. You know what I mean? Because you didn't expect to run into that person because if you did, and especially if your mother and father was on point the way they were, if you knew you was meeting them, you would have had an extra biscuit in that bag and like, bro, I got this for you. You see what I'm saying? See, and that's the whole thing about it is, you said it, social contracts. I think there's a gift and a curse when you're talking about social contracts because the thing about it is if you ask me and I'm just so being happen to be starving and say, man, could I? You know what I'm saying? And you don't really want to do it, you're gonna it's gonna be a negative experience when it comes to when you see me again. Because if you really didn't want to do it, but you're trying to be live up to what you were trained to be by your
Hmm.
parents. Don't offer, is what I'm saying. Don't
Hmm.
offer. Now, if it's a big meal, you know what I'm saying, and you don't say anything, that's your choice. But fuck, you know what I mean?
But
Like,
see. This is the thing that I think people might disregard in that scenario, man. The fact that if I offer and you accept, it opens up the door for possibilities or whatever. Because I'm enjoying this. You're hungry, okay? Uh, I might be in a position to get you your own.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean,
exactly. I mean, and it's no right or wrong in that. I guess that's what we're really touching on. There's no right or wrong in that landscape. It's just what I would not do unless you force me to do it. I would not tax it to your character,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not you accept it, whether or not you offer it. I'm not going to tack that into your character unless, like I said, there are starving people and you have a big plate or something
Mm-hmm.
that you can share. I'm not talking about soup. I'm not talking about stew or rice or anything like that, but something that you can break off and share. And you'll sit there and eat it in front of some starving people. When I
Mm-hmm.
say starving, I'm not talking about uh, famine starving. I'm talking about, people who might be hungry that's with you
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even attempt to ask. That could reflect on you. Now, is it wrong for not offering? No.
Uh-huh.
No,
Uh-huh.
but that's the thing where people start to question your character.
But
Now,
see,
let me
even
ask you a question.
even wait. Even that though, bro, you can't question me on my resources. You can't do that.
But that's the whole point. That's the question I was going to ask you. Should that be the case where people question what kind of person you are, whether or not you offer them something?
I don't think it should be because I tell you what, man, I've lived through this scenario twice. You go to somebody's house a couple of times, they offer you something to eat, and just for the sake of convenience or your own standards or whatever, I might have refused, two times, and then it gets back that man, he come over here, you don't never eat, drink nothing, man. What kind of nigga is he?
Uh-huh.
But then you go back and you accept the offer. Okay, it's cool. You accept it twice. Now it's damn. You just come over here to eat.
Yeah. But that's
I
what
stand.
I'm saying.
I stand where I stand, man, and nobody can buzz me, man. So if I come over your house and it offends you that I don't eat, then you need to stop inviting.
Hell, or figuring out when you're not eating and then invite me. I mean, if
Yeah.
you really have a problem with it. I think a lot of it has to do with, like I said earlier, don't offer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't offer. I'm gonna tell you what I used to do. If I had like supposed to pick somebody up at a certain time, right? And I come at the time that we allotted because they're riding with me and they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
I will go to the other room and wait for them to finish eating. I won't sit there in front of them
Mm-hmm.
unless they say, "Hey, man, come on in here." You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I always felt like people who, excuse me, I always felt like people deserve to eat alone because I don't eat outside because of that. I like the privacy of my meal. Now, in cafeteria settings, restaurant settings, that's another thing because you have your own little cubicle type of situation. You know what I mean? At least it makes you feel like you have that little personal space, you and whoever you're eating with, that little personal space, right? But
Mm-hmm.
ever since I was a little kid, I hated, like with hot dogs and sandwiches and stuff, I hated
Mm-hmm.
walking out my door eating them unless I was going to the car. You see what I'm saying? But if I was outside, my friends waiting for me outside, I'm not going to walk outside with something in my hand eating because where I eat is my own inner sanctum. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that goes to this people have their own personal preferences on how they do things. You feel me? Like people don't like you playing with their food. They find it highly disrespectful. Some people don't mind the little back and forth thing. But almost to a man and a woman, people who don't like you paying for their food and playing with their food is one that growing up, food was scarce and they couldn't eat as much as they wanted to eat. So they will fight you over their plate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if when you find somebody who who can eat plenty, unless you're highly disrespectful, like smack food out of their hands or turn their plate over or something like that. If it was some kind of mistake and their plate or food became contaminated, they're not going to be quick to anger. But those folks who was licking lard and straining dishwater for meals,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, they gonna harm you. They gonna do great harm on you over their plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't really like at lunch or whatever, man. I eat at my desk or whatever. I don't. I've always been like that, man. People just seeing and sitting there, and whether they were eating or not, man. And we just sitting there looking at each other while we eating. I don't like that, man. So
I mean,
I
like I said, yeah, I agree. It's a preference, man. It really is. It really is, man. Like I said, cafeteria. I can deal with that mostly because I was trained up to do it. Because when we was in school, in elementary, middle school, high school, and college, we was always eating in the cafeteria setting. You know what I mean?
hmm
So I pretty much been trained to do that. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
But if I had my preference, oh man, shit. I'm gonna find a little corner somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Get it done. You know.
speaking of cafeterias, man. I mean, like when you was like coming up through school and everything, did how did you eat lunch in school, man?
What do you mean?
Like I didn't have I didn't have no kind of I guess you would call lunch tickets or lunch program or anything like that. So I never
Luke did.
like junior high through high school, eighth grade through my senior year in high school. I didn't have
But I
I
mean,
didn't know what I was I
if
didn't know what I was going to eat throughout the day.
see, we had tickets. Like
I didn't
two
have none.
2 out of the 4 years I was in high school. 2 out of the 4 years. And mostly because, and it's probably what happened with you, mostly because the paperwork. Our parents didn't fill out the damn paperwork.
Yeah.
And with me and Fluke, I filled them shits out and had them sign it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because if you could get the free lunch, man, because even though the years I was in school, you remember John wasn't working because he
hmm
was suing Ford, right? So it was just mom's income. We could get it. You feel what I'm saying? We can get it because of that. So I was like, I found this shit out. Either one of my friends told me or one of our aunts. I grabbed that pair. Hey man, fuck that. And then, then when I got it, going through the line 2 or 3 times, even though it was always 2 week increments that you got the tickets, and they would punch it with a hole puncher, right, bro?
I wouldn't know.
When I first got mine, honestly, when I first got mine, I was going through that line, especially on pizza day,
hmm
going through that line twice. Yeah, getting all nostalgic and not trying to stray too far from the point. On pizza day, what was it about those rectangle paper tasting slices of pizza that was so damn delicious, man? Can you explain that to me, man?
Well, no, I can't, Keith. I didn't have that.
No, it was regular lunch, man. You know what I'm saying?
Keith, I just told I never got regular lunch, man. I never got it.
So
When I
you,
was in elementary school, when I was in elementary school,
I mean, we didn't get it in
that
elementary school. No, we had to take our
uh,
lunch and shit.
well, that it was free in elementary school. But
Okay.
when I got when I got to East Middle School and started having to pay cash for lunch, I didn't have lunch no more.
I and in middle school, I had to take my lunch. I'm gonna tell you, is why I eat bologna but look, bologna with two pieces of bread. I eat that. That's what I have for lunch. For in middle school and freshman and sophomore year. That's what I have for lunch. And maybe once in a while, I'll take some chips with me. But I was just cool with that one little sandwich that I had with me. Look, I had it in my book bag or my pocket. You know what I'm saying? That was it. But those square lunches, which I think the lunches was $1.25 or some bullshit like that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And but yeah, it is what it is, man. You know,
Yeah. No, it ain't. No, it ain't what it is. No, it ain't. It is what it is. That shit was like that shit was bad, man.
bro.
And I can never figure out. I mean, because we applied for it. We applied for it up until like my sophomore year in high school.
Oh no.
And then I just stopped it. I stopped even bothering.
But yeah, we both did. Me and Fluke both did. That's true. That was the truth. I remember that because I took the initiative. Both our parents was working and doing whatever the fuck they was doing. You know what I mean? As far as going to work every day. I'm gonna tell you, that's one thing about John and Margie Armstrong. Being their children taught us how to take care of our business. You know what I'm saying? That's real, man. That's real. All right, well, let me ask you this, man. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. I know a little bit about the Haitian population.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, but honestly, up until the debate, I never heard that cat was on one of the Haitian cuisines.
Hmm.
You didn't watch the debate, did you?
Mm-mm.
Donald Trump got on there because he was getting flustered, and he was talking about, is it Springfield, Illinois? Don't misquote me on what city, guys, but somewhere in Illinois, right? He said that the Haitian folks that the feds had planted into.
That's Ohio. That was Ohio, isn't it?
Well, I forget which way. Yeah, could have been. It's Midwest, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was Midwest, and Vice President Harris, soon to be President Harris, he got him flustered. So
Hmm.
when he got flustered, he always brought up the immigration. Always brought up how they was met. That's what he did, right? So this particular time, this man said, and then in such and such Midwest, the immigrants are they're eating cats. They're eating the dogs. There's folks on TV complaining about them eating their dogs and eating their cats.
I thought that was a meme, man. I didn't think
Oh
that was
no,
a
he actually said
wow.
that. I looked at, I could not,
Damn.
I shook my head, right?
Hmm.
And now it was a woman that came on who had called the police and said that she saw some some immigrants kill ducks,
Hmm.
kill the ducks at the pond, at the public pond, and walk away with them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, where the fuck did he get dogs and cats from?
Stupid. I mean, but this is the thing for me. Like I said, I thought it was a meme when I first heard it because I didn't bother to pursue it or whatever because what the fuck. But uh, so what if they do eat cats and dogs? I mean, culturally, outside of America, cats and dogs aren't valued
No,
as house pets as much as they are here.
No, but what he was
You
doing
know,
was what he was doing was
I know, I know,
fear,
I know what
man.
he was doing, man. I know what he was doing,
You know
man.
what
But
I'm
you
saying?
know, if people believe that, then they're fucking idiots.
They
That's why
do.
somebody tried.
That's
That's
why
why
you
somebody tried.
trust in the first
That's
place.
why somebody. That's why somebody tried to kill that motherfucker again.
But see, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Be honest with you. That's always been suspect to me.
What?
The assassination attempts. This is has always been suspect to me. You know what I mean? Trying to put enough fear and not make him a martyr, but put him as the actual victim because I'm telling the truth. I'm saying what you believe. Now, is it true? Do I think it's true that they tried to kill him? There's some crazy fucking people out here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's some crazy people who will try to do that shit. I mean, it's people who tried to kill Asians. Remember the one Asian in Atlanta killed all the all them Asians, and they asked him why. You know what I'm saying? Like, and had no reason to why.
Hmm.
It's just what maybe the voices is telling them, or maybe this or that. You know what I'm saying? So he has preached so much hate. He really has. He has preached so much hate that it is bound to it is bound to scare even his own people. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because look, the quote unquote the man, the one thing they don't want to lose control of is the power. You know what I mean? So, what's the quickest way for them to lose power? Is a revolution being started because nobody has power then. The government will be destabilized, all these different things will happen, and it will crumble. The idea of peace will crumble. See what I'm saying? This is why uh, the Republicans are jumping ship because their main goal is the power, not losing the power of things. But he will make it, he will put people in positions to be shit subjugated, man. And you lose power that way because people will rebel against it and destabilize everything, you know?
I mean,
So,
even you know, even if they do succeed in destabilization, man, nobody at this point, man. Even I would say, I would dare to say, preppers, man. Nobody's prepared for anything like that. Of
exactly. That's the whole
the,
point.
the, the great reset and all that bullshit, man. I
But
mean,
see, that's
let's get to Monday, man.
but see, that's the whole thing, though, man. That is like a fetish. That is like buying $750 bottle worth of lubricant and baby oil. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you want and prefer. See, I can tell that you're not really caught up on things because you missed that joke.
No, I caught it.
But
I caught
the point I'm trying to make to you is people will make themselves believe the kookiest shit just to be right. I've always believed that. You know what I'm saying? When I say
it.
kooky, I'm talking about um, using using movies and TV shows and books, for example,
Mm,
where generals make a decision, say in the Pentagon, they make a decision that America should, and this was always been pumped in our minds. America should push the button first, catch the Soviets off guard, then they would win the war,
mm,
not considering that the nuclear fallout, right, would destroy the earth anyway.
mm.
You see what I'm saying? It's like you're being you're being conditioned to think as long as you win, even though everybody's dead, as long as you win, then your ideology prevails.
Yeah, I mean that's that whole Pyrrhic victory bullshit, man. But the concept and the reason for war is acquisition of land
Of course,
and
always.
and resources. That's the reason why the button ain't never been and will never be pushed. How much land mass Russia has that they're not even using that's livable about
Yeah.
as much as America.
No, of
I mean,
course,
so
America. The only the only continent that's bigger than that whole, and it's basically Eurasian. It's a Eurasian continent. That is one thing. The white people wanted to be different, and they split it down the damn Alps or some fucking where. This is Europe. We are a continent. No, you're not.
mm,
You're attached to all of that, all the way back to China. It's
mm,
Eurasia, is what it is. You know what I mean?
yeah. But getting
But,
back to my
but,
point
but,
though,
but the thing about it is,
when you
let me
getting
finish.
back get
Let me finish. Asia is still smaller than the continent of Africa. Eurasia is still smaller than the continent of Africa. It's just the way that they make the maps and the globes.
mhm.
It's crazy. But go ahead and finish your point.
I, I can't
Okay, so what I'll do is, even
let
though,
me let me finish my point.
yeah,
I appreciate you. I
yeah, but
appreciate
but, but I was in the middle of a point. That's what I was.
you. No, you wasn't.
Yes, it was.
I started on a point, and then yeah, yeah.
No, no, no,
Then you
no,
had
no, no, hold on.
no. I am thinking about it. I started out
Okay,
talking about the land masses and the reasons for war, and you cut me
okay.
off, and I
So, so,
wasn't
so,
done.
so you didn't stop when you said
You
that.
did yeah, because I wasn't finishing my point.
You did stop. That's why I said something. Okay. You know what?
No,
This is recording, and I expect an apology when I look this back over. You understand me?
okay. I don't. I don't. I mean, you can. You. It's as far as I'm concerned. I've addressed it and I've moved on. So
Of course you're
when
gonna
you do
move.
what when you do watch it back, just just be like, damn, yeah, he was right. And you don't have to say nothing to me. I ain't like that.
If you're not like that, why you even say something in the first damn place? That's what I'm talking about, man. Don't
Unless you asked me to
pretend.
finish my point.
Look. Don't pretend you got a problem. I mean, you don't have a problem when that problem is sticking out there like a big old pimple.
Yeah, well, I mean, you asked me from my perspective. I gave it to you.
Yeah, okay. I
No, I
don't
mean, but
disagree with you.
mm, you think about how much like I said, land mass in Eurasia is actually livable though. It's not a lot of that shit that you can live in. In China you got the fucking Gobi Desert, and in Russia you got fucking Siberia. You can't do nothing with that.
I mean, you
Not
can't.
yet.
There's people living up there.
Man, who want that
I mean,
hard ass life though?
look. They not comfortable all the fucking time, but they still live up there. Shit.
Man,
The,
shit.
the way they building houses now.
Well, yeah.
You know
Some
what I
parts
mean?
of Siberia, man, the damn sun doesn't go down. So I mean, who want to live there?
I think if you grew up in it, you wouldn't even mind about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but shit. Well, no, I don't know, man. If shit is hard, you, somewhere along the lines, you pretty much get a sense that this life is hard. And, like goddamn,
Yeah,
somewhere in the world, man, I know that a motherfucker don't gotta tote a pail 5 miles to get water and then tote the water back 5 miles.
I know that's a motherfucker. And then and that's a good day for them because they're
Yeah.
coming back with the water. You know what I'm saying? And see, and
Mhm.
that's how I look at shit more than anything.
Mhm.
And really and truly, I think it's unfair that we have to not have to. We automatically look at it as being negative that they got to walk and go get
Mhm.
that water. It's automatically a negative. But what's the alternative? You know what I'm saying? What's the
Yeah.
alternative?
Yeah.
Like man, if you growing up in that situation, that is truly a blessing where you can come back with two 5-gallon jugs of clean water
Mhm.
and bring back to your family.
Yeah.
You
But that
start
just,
up.
I mean, that for me, man, it just brings up to a topic that we talked about, a few shows ago, man. Ignorance is bliss.
It's real.
That same person walking 10 miles a day for water, man. As soon as they find out they don't want to live like that no more.
And then I think everybody should get the opportunity to experience not living like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because it it is a shame. And I'm talking about people who want to live in the modern world. I'm not talking about folks who are able to cope and live off the land and farm and be, have cattle and all these different things and their life is not disrupted, you know, and they're happy with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about the folks who knows that they're walking down the street and they know there's people inside of a house that has running water with no bacteria
Mm-hmm.
in which you can cook, or when it's hot, they have some fans or central air. I really believe that everyone should experience what that is. And some people might think I'm being unrealistic or overly optimistic. Every human being on this earth can and should have shelter and something to eat. It is clearly possible. But
To
for
what
some
standard?
reason, huh?
To what standard though?
But see, the standard is you can raise it to any standard. All right, perfect example. Here in this country, right? When people are on government, white and black people are on government assistance, right? They are living in homes with clean running water. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you raise it to that standard, where there's clean water and means to eat healthy food, that's not an unrealistic standard. But what I think has been brought into it is the greed, power, the term wealth, being rich. I haven't looked up the definition of rich or wealthy, right? But I can almost guarantee that somewhere in that definition it has something to do with an overabundance of something that could be shared with other people. Mostly the overabundance. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why when they talk about homeless, overpopulation, to me, overpopulation is a myth, is a myth that has been and I have no proof about this, but I'll tell you why I think this, is a myth that's been sold to us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the reason why I say that is you talked about it. Siberia, the Gobi Desert, right? Don't nobody want to live there. But with the proper plumbing and the proper climate conditions, well built homes, people can live there because
Mm-hmm.
they live in Arizona and they live in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
both places is unbelievable. But how many times you've been on the road and you drive by, and I know this is people's farmlands and all this stuff, right? But you drive by gigantic farms, government farms, right? And private farms where so many acres of land,
Mm-hmm.
but they only concentrate us in city and just outside the cities,
Mm-hmm.
but all the open spaces. You know what I mean? I believe in my heart that it's enough where people can be, where you could really and truly bring the homeless population of people who still have their senses, right,
Mm-hmm.
to a trickle and still have enough to feed farmland to feed America. You look at Canada, how much open land Canada has. Hell, Mexico, South America, except for, the damn rainforest. You know what I mean? You got centipedes that'll bite you and turn you into a damn turtle. You know what I mean? But my point is, if you really look at it, when they talk about these things, where there's things are overpopulated. Yes, the cities are overpopulated because folks are moving there for convenience more than anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
New York. New York is what, the third biggest country, state in the union, second or third, right? Because I think it's Alaska. Oh, top five. Upstate New York is heavily populated as New York City is in its five boroughs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Upstate New York is all national park shit. It is the most scenic Chesapeake Bay, not Chesapeake. Um, what's what is it? What's
Hudson Bay.
Hudson Bay is the
Mm-hmm.
most beautiful scenery I've ever seen, bro. You drive down to West Virginia. There's a lot of mountains, but it's still flat land. Ohio, Michigan, the glove and the rabbit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Of course, the climates can vary, especially in Upper Peninsula in the rabbit. The winters are a mother. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is, in a long-winded way, when you talk about this earth being overpopulated, it's kind of it's kind of propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of propaganda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean
but
that's my opinion
it
about
all
it.
boils down.
I'm sure other people will have a fight about it, but go ahead, bro.
It all boils down to, defining abundance, man. I mean, my definition of abundance is miles away from Donald Trump's definition of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's easier for him to access that abundance. I mean, the one thing that people never talk about as far as the American mindset goes, man, is our idea of ownership. You know, uh, outside of a couple of European countries or whatever, man, people don't. People don't like get into like land disputes over fucking, well, this is my 100 acres and all this and all that. If somebody needs somewhere to live, take Soweto. Somebody needs somewhere to live. They find them a piece of land, an empty piece of land, and build a goddamn shack on it, and they live there. You know, and you might have occasions where the government might come through and bulldoze, but as far as private citizens, might not be a lot of that. You can't say that for America, though.
I get it. I get it. I think I think it always has to do with the power. What power that you have? Because if you own land, right, you know, that makes you more powerful. Because what land does is it's always capital that you can go to. You can always sell off a piece of it. You can always do whatever you want with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing is like what's so funny about it is our idea of, like you said, ownership, right? How do you pay off your mortgage and you still, after your mortgage is paid off, and as long as you're living in this house, you still have to pay property taxes,
Hmm.
even though you purchased the third of an acre that you built your house on.
Hmm.
Why are you paying property taxes? Okay, some people can will rationalize, oh, because one or two things. The government still has to run. I
Hmm.
mean, without these taxes, then we can't pay our employees. We can't do this. We can't do that. Right? But I
Hmm.
paid you for 30 years, and this country is made of the stock market. Why ain't you investing the money that I paid you? I shouldn't have
Hmm.
to pay you anymore. You see what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to pay you anymore because I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this home
Hmm.
that would be taken away from me if I will go into foreclosure if I don't pay the mortgage. That's because that's the contract that I signed. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The IRS will put you in jail if you don't pay your taxes,
Hmm.
right? Even if you have an item, either your body or some kind of merchandise that you created yourself. You know what I'm saying? You created
Hmm.
yourself, and all this, you still have to pay taxes on them, and will go to jail if you don't. Now, I'll be honest with you from personal point of view, the IRS is very patient. If you BS them, they'll give you a chance. Let's set up a payment plan. Let's get this out of the way. As long as you're paying us our money, we don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But when
Hmm.
you ignore them and do all these different things, they have the power to put you in jail.
Hmm. I
But
mean, it's government, government loan sharking, man. That's what I mean. Yeah,
but
if
is it a government entity?
yeah, yeah, but it's still loan sharking because all right, yeah. The first couple of times we come to you, we gonna give you some really friendly threats,
Yeah,
but third time we gonna break your legs, man.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's this this country. This country is I just looked it up and I Googled it. So it's 75% true. It says it is a government agency. So,
Hmm.
you know, this I threw it out. I asked that question. I didn't need to answer that question. What'd you just say, bro?
No,
Oh, I was going to hit you. If you would say, I don't remember, I would hit you with the Stephen A. Stay off the weed, man.
we ain't never affected
I'm,
my memory.
look, I'm joking. Jaquari is not a weed head. He never was one. Um,
I was.
okay.
I really was.
Let me ask you a personal thing.
Mhm.
Think about this the other day. I think the way I grew up, I'm able to take on the responsibility of other people besides my family. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You and Damon and your children and wives are included when I say family, right? But most people are not equipped for that. And they don't want to be equipped for it.
Mhm.
So my question to you is, and my question to anyone that's watching, and do us a favor, throw it in the chat what you think, what your answer is. But what do you think your biggest responsibility to your family is or should be?
Hmm.
I'll let you simmer on that while I'm just setting it up because I reference back to what the way I grew up. I take on a lot of responsibility, not for my family's actions, but how I treat them, what I give them. So if I can give as much and just be a little uncomfortable, I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, how much is too much?
That's a good question. I mean, nowadays, man, I don't really, yeah, I don't really sacrifice as much as I used to at all. I mean, and, that's not by choice. It's just, my daughter, my wife, they're in a position to where, they don't need the kind of support I can give them or gave them, in the past anymore. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now it's becoming more and more important to me, for me, to pursue my happiness. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah, I mean, if there is a need, even sometime if there wasn't a need, man, shit, yeah, I'm dialing on the spot, man. What you need, outside of what you need, what do you want? Because for me, that's to be able to provide what to be able to provide something a person wants outside of their immediate needs, man, it's just as important. So, I don't find myself in a position where I even need to do that anymore. But people know that, within reason, I'm still a resource for that.
Gotcha. If you raise them right, then your responsibility lessens.
Mhm.
I think that to truthfully, answer the question truthfully, what my biggest responsibility to my family is, I will do everything I can not to say no in helping them. Everything that I can to that umpteenth level, not to say no. And that's what I go by.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a realist and I have said no. And I've said no for their own good. You see what I'm saying? Not to satisfy me, but for their own good. Because if I help you do this thing, I'm speaking more from my sons, right? And my wife. If I help you do these things, will it happen again? Are you addressing why it happened? You know what I'm saying? Even
Mm-hmm.
though if it comes up again, I'll try my best. But if I'm in that if I that moment and I say no, that'll be the reason why I said no.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what you knew and you counted on me to do this. Now the first time, okay, I'll give you that. You know how you get that first free one. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But when it's a string of the same thing, no,
Yeah.
no,
It starts to become a psychopathy and shit, man. At that point, man, I emphasize, man, that okay, yeah, this is the second time this situation has arisen. So from now on, I need at least for our efforts to fucking match,
yeah,
you know. And what I mean by that is, when you in a bind, you come and you seek help from me. But my expectations from your end is that you do everything you can not to get in this fucking bind again.
yeah.
And that's what I mean by our efforts matching. Like, come on, man. Somebody, people aren't supposed to, feel like they can depend on you, for relief all the time.
Especially when they grown. When they children, that's one thing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? When they children, that's one thing. But I think a lot of it is based on my character and my personality on what I do. I just can't, and it's rooted in our childhood to be the people keep it a buck and
Mm-hmm.
why I am the way I am today. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's the truth. With our parents, how I am today is rooted in that.
Mm-hmm.
A problem solver. You know what I'm saying? Give you my last if it's really and truly gonna count to something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, you was also, I mean, we was raised in the same house, man. And you mentioned giving last or whatever, man. We was raised to, if we have a need, yeah, seek help to address that need, man. But if it's somebody's last, I wouldn't dare ask.
I
I
wouldn't ask
wouldn't
for it.
dare ask somebody for
Wouldn't
their
ask for
last, man.
it. Would not ask for it. No, no.
So I mean, when I
Unless
come
it
up,
was a quick turnaround or something. But really,
uh,
no,
yeah,
no. Mm-mm.
no,
But that's the funny thing. What's so crazy about it is I would give you I would give you my personal last, not my familiar last.
mm,
Because my first obligation is to my family,
mm-hmm,
right? But if my personal last, my jack off money, I got you. You feel what I'm saying? No,
mm,
no problem. And I mean that. And I'll dip into my familiar last because if it's somebody that's important to me, oh, it ain't no fucking hesitation. It's what it is. You know what I
mm,
mean? I think. Let me ask this next question, and this is more of a no real answer to this. How rooted in selfishness do you think our society is?
Absolutely rooted in selfishness, man. I mean, and just as an example, man, personally, man, if somebody is talking to me about a situation or a problem they're having, man, and I'm very conscious of it, man, because I'll mention it, I'll say it if it starts to happen. But they're telling me what's going on with them, and I'll automatically, instead of just thinking about the uh the parallels that we have or whatever, I'll verbalize that. That's not the time to do it. Somebody's coming to you with an issue, you know, seeking possible solutions or whatever, man. It's not the time for you to start telling your life story. And for me, that's where my selfishness, shines the most. Is talking about me. You know what I mean? You don't have this issue right now.
And you know what's so crazy about it is I'm the opposite of that. Not saying you wrong, not saying I'm right or I'm wrong. I'm opposite of that. I think it's because of the pecking order that we're in, right? Me, you, and Damon, we can sit around, we could talk, but
Mm,
we verbalize things. You know what I mean? And it's a mutual exchange and it's back and forth, right? But throughout my life, and I think, and I spoke about this in the morning podcast, my lot in life is to be a sounding board because I understand that I am to listen. That's that gift that was given me by the Almighty.
mm,
Where, and I'm gonna tell you how I discovered it. It was given to me that people tell me things,
mm,
friends, acquaintances, strangers. They they pour their emotions out to me without me asking.
mm,
Maybe it's the way that I sit in silence. I'm not sure. No, but it's a gift from God. It's what it is. It's part of that discernment. It's part of all of these different things, right? When I was younger, I didn't think it was fair. It was a gift and a curse. Because what I would do is go to the people who use me as a sounding board and say, hey, listen, sis, listen, brother, I'm going through this. You know, I want to get it out. And oh man, this is actual conversation. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear. You okay? Hell, it reminds me of, oh man, that's crazy that you called me because I'm going through this,
mm,
where it gets switched. And I was so resentful when I was younger because I didn't say anything. I held stuff in because I didn't feel, I felt insulted that you would switch it up, even though I told you I had a problem.
mm,
And I would always listen to you. Then I just thought about it as I gotten older, and I realized I'm equipped for that. I'm equipped for it for whatever reason. Maybe because our parents gave me responsibility for myself and for you and Damon when they weren't around. I took that seriously. So I'm equipped to hear. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen to you. And if you ask me my opinion, I'll tell you, but I won't overshare. But it took me years to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not to pass judgment. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by oversharing. It took me years to do that. But that's why I say
mm.
it was a gift and a curse at the same time because it's like, well, damn, what about me? You always say that. You always say that about yourself. Well, what about me?
Always, always, yeah. And
So
I don't see it. I don't see it as passive judgment, man. Because if somebody's coming to you looking for a solution, man, then that's what they want to hear. They want to hear your judgments on the situation.
I
Now,
think
when you pass judgment unsolicited, that's when it becomes a burden.
you know what I find? They just want to hear themselves talk about it. Within the first 5 minutes, if they don't say, "Hey man, I want your opinion about this," "Hey man, what you think? Can you tell me what you think?" If they don't say that within the first 5 minutes, right? What I discovered is all they want you to do is sit there and acknowledge that they're talking.
Hmm.
They acknowledge, "Oh wow, man, for real, damn." You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I've learned to that. That's how I've learned to get through it. Like, okay, is that what's going on right now? Let me listen. And when I write it out, and I'll wait until they repeated themselves about 3 times on the same thing,
Hmm.
then I'll say something like, "Yeah, you already said that. So, what's going on? What
Yeah, what's the
you
real
came to me
problem?
for a reason. You know what I mean?"
Yeah, yeah. Because I personally, man, I find it quite fucking exhausted, man. I have to pull something out of somebody. You know what I mean?
That's why I
And
don't try to do it. That's why I don't try to do
like
it.
damn, man, like.
No, I really and truly I don't, because they will give it to you if they want to.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But and also the thing is they want attention. You know, "Hey man, they ain't seen you in a while, right? Hey man, I seen Corey the other day. You know, because when they want to be braggadocious about what they did for Corey, or what Corey had been jealous about.
Mhm.
I showed Corey my diamond, my ruby studded bracelet, man, and Corey looked at me and said, "Hmm." You know what I mean? And I told him it was about 50. It was about 10 grand, man. But he looked at it like I was insulting him, man. You believe that? And blah blah blah. No, I recognize you low key bragging,
Mhm.
because that's not a slight. You throwing whatever. I chose jewelry, but you throwing this in this man's face like he's supposed to be excited about it. This is excited about it as you are.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, and depending on the mood that I'm in, to be honest with you, when I pick that up, because all they want to do is just talk about themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I find that a lot of women do that. A lot of women do that. They just want to talk about how great they are,
Mhm.
but they really don't have a problem. They just want to talk about how great they are. When men are braggadocious about their job and whatever accomplishment or what they're driving or the women that they have and all this, they just want to hear themselves talk about how great they are. You know, it is what it is. And, and I'll sit there and, "Oh, really? Wow, okay. Wow, okay." You know what I mean? Until the conversation stops.
Mhm.
And what I'll do is sometimes I'll just stop and I won't add a log onto the fire. I won't do it, or refuse to do it, because you have done enough in
Mhm.
bragging about yourself. You've done enough. You went in for 45 minutes about who you are. Now, if you
Mhm.
press the issue, I'm gonna hit you with some sarcasm and show you that you look, your fishing expedition, it worked to a point, but
Mhm.
that little honey hole that you had, it dried up. Ain't no more fish in that motherfucker, because I'm not trying to. You know what I'm saying? It's just this sometimes, man. It's you have to understand who you are to people.
Hmm.
Then your feelings won't get hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but that's a struggle, man, because you're not the same person to everybody, man. Like you just said. I mean, but situations like that, man. When I just get tired and fed up with it, man, and I know it's on some old self-aggrandizing type bullshit. I'll ask a person, how do your socks taste? Because you've been sucking them since you know we started this conversation. What's your goal? What are
Mm-hmm.
you what are you looking to what are you looking for me to add to to you know to your plight here? Because I listen to you. I mean, people like some man, he be lying all the time. Why you be talking to him? Because he entertains me. You think I don't know this person is lying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You think I don't know this person is insincere? You think I don't know this person is braggadocious or trying to inflate their positive their positive picture, in the description of this fucked up scenario that they're describing to me right now? You think I don't know that's going on? I'm bored right now, and this person is talking, and I see it as they respect me enough to want to entertain me, so that's what they're doing. So yeah, man, if you just let me, no, I'm not falling for no bullshit. You know, that's definitely not gonna happen. But you can talk all day.
Let me ask you this question. Just let's get into the entertainment to close this thing up. The entertainment part of the thing. I'm gonna ask you a couple things. Did we speak on the Tyreek Hill situation? I
No,
don't
who
think
was
you
that?
were on that episode. Me and Damon spoke on it, and I wanted to get your opinion about it. You familiar with what happened with him before the game and all that, with him being arrested?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. I gave Damon my response, and I was being honest about it. But also, I kind of felt like I was trying to justify uh, the behavior of the policeman, in which I
Hmm.
definitely didn't agree with. Because what I said was, and you tell me what your opinion about this. Tyreek Hill, whatever amount he was speeding, right?
Hmm.
Now, I finally watched the video, like right before the whole snatching him out the car thing. And right there, I'm not sure what the officer said prior to that, but the officer was knocking on his window,
Hmm.
knocking. But he rolled down the window and said, "Why are you beating on my window like that?" Now, he
Hmm.
could have done it before it came on. So I'm just going to just say this. Had he not, and that was just the regular way he was knocking on the window,
Yeah.
like, first of all, unless it's an ordinance or highway patrol procedure, because it is Miami and they can tint their windows all the way around, right? Here, you don't necessarily have to keep your window rolled down the whole time. You know what I mean? And he put too big an emphasis on, and I think it turned into a pissing contest in which they were both wrong,
Hmm.
right? Roll your window down. Now he already had his license and registration, but
Hmm.
he was like, roll your window down. And he didn't really need to do that. So he knocked on the window, like, roll your window down. You know what I mean? He said it a couple times, right? And Tyreek became a little perturbed, like, why are you beating on my window? And I'm former law enforcement. He didn't beat on your window, man. He knocked on your window and told you
Hmm.
to roll it down. Now that's a small thing unless you pissed off. That's a small thing to be worried about if you highway patrol when you got his license and registration.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? You go run it. Take it back, run it, make a decision whether or not you're gonna write him a ticket. It was that easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when he got to the point where he became defiant, the back and forth, and just like I said, I'm not sure of all the laws there on the road, and I'm not sure how fast he was going. Now, him asking him to come out the car, right? He got fed up. So depending on how fast he was going, the moving violation was him coming out the car. You could look at it several ways. You feel what I'm saying? But if it's like 10 over, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have no need to bring him out the car because you got his license and registration. Write him the ticket and move on. But if he's going, you know what I'm saying,
If he's
90,
right, if he,
90 and a 55 or some shit like that.
yeah, because
But
you in the state of Virginia, you go to jail for reckless.
it's reckless as far as if they have to give chase. They have to give
Mm,
chase. No, I'm
not
telling you,
here,
I know exactly
not
what you're
here,
talking about. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
not in the state of Virginia, Keith.
In the state of Virginia,
Mm-mm,
listen,
mm-mm, mm-mm.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. It
I
depends
live
on
here,
how,
Keith.
huh?
I live here.
I know that. And I understand the laws of the road is a commonwealth. I understand what you're saying to you. Damn, I mean, you know what?
You so fucking. So what you why y'all raw nerd this shit?
I'm not
Relax,
on
Jesus.
earth. I'm just trying to finish my point. And my point is, and this is the question I'm asking you. Do you think, as a regular driver, do you think Tyreek, did you see the video?
Mm-mm.
Okay, see,
But
this is not a fair,
I
this is not a fair question, then.
well, no, go ahead and ask because I mean, well,
All right, but
I didn't see how fast.
do you,
I see. I probably seen what you seen. So yeah, go.
do you think that he could have prevented that by keeping his window down?
Absolutely.
Okay, now that's the exchange between those two officers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next motherfucker who came up and took over the car and snatched him out of the car and put him on the ground and shit. That was some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying to you? That was some horse shit. His ass was in the bunch the whole day. Somebody pissed him off. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And you gave him too much fucking power because he's taking it out on everybody. Because he did that to Tyreek, and then he was the second. If you saw the second part of the video, when the other football players had stopped to check on him,
Mm-hmm.
he again was the second officer who came up and arrested that guy because he wouldn't move his vehicle in a timely
Mm-hmm.
manner. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I have been in those situations where the second guy who is your check-in or the third guy who is your check-in will blow the situation up and not let you control your call.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Now, my honest opinion, Tyreek was feeling, like I said, I didn't see the other part of it. But instead of just roll your fucking window down, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? You're trying to get to the game. Yo, I was speeding, man. Just go ahead. He eventually said it. Go ahead and write me a ticket, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This, is the man actually roll your window down? Roll the motherfucker down. You ain't got to deal with nothing else no more. You know what I'm saying? He getting ready to scratch you off a ticket in which you send your lawyer there, pay the fine, and boom. You know what I mean? He didn't bring it on himself. See, Tyreek Hill didn't bring it on himself to be uh, thrown to the ground and all this shit.
Hmm.
I think that officer need to be dealt with. You dig what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But sort of dickhead behavior to keep rolling your window back up.
I mean, because you see, you go on the internet and see examples of that shit all the time, man. I mean, and the ones we see are situations that work out, in a
Yeah.
person's favor. But some of the motherfuckers go to jail, man.
You know
You
what's
know,
so
like
crazy about it? Yeah. Go ahead.
if you take for instance the people who are air quotes innocently filming outside of police stations and filming each cruiser that comes in or whatever, and sometimes those people go to jail.
They do. If it's an ordinance in place, yes, sir. Without
Oh
hesitation.
shit. Even if it ain't an ordinance in place, I mean,
No, I
shit,
mean, if no, they would have to go a long way because it's with a here is restrict, obstruct, and delay of the duty of a law enforcement officer. But
mm,
filming somebody going in and out, that's not delaying or obstruction of anybody's duty, right? But if there's a
mm,
city ordinance or a county ordinance stating, hey, you can't be within a certain amount of feet of the police with your camera out recording.
mm,
A lot of cities put that into place for for obvious reasons because you don't want to be a disruption. But if you're across the street, of course you're able to whip your phone out. I mean, come on, man. Look, officer, do your fucking job. You dig what I'm saying? Because this will save your job. If you do the right shit and these motherfuckers is recording, it'll save your damn job.
mm.
And plus, you got the body cams on too. You know what I mean? People used to always worry about losing their job the way they deal with people, right? I never was worried about that because I followed it. I took the emotions out. You can defend yourself without any emotions to it. Hell, you can. I've never done this. You can knock the shit out of somebody without emotions attached to it when you're doing your job. If that person's trying to fight you, I'm talking about physically fight you, throwing punches, grabbing for your gun, doing these different things, you professionally keep him the hell off of you and get him under control. You don't do it like, you're trying to kill me, I'm gonna kill you. I joke about that, but bro, first and foremost, you put the uniform every day. You acknowledge it. This is how I've always felt. I acknowledge that I'm going to run into the worst people, but I'm also run into the kindest people.
Mhm.
So it's my goal to recognize who it is.
Mhm.
Now, ultimately, you can't recognize whether or not somebody's going to snap. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or on the other side, he looked like a badass, but he compliant, right? But you start here being ultra aware, not being relaxed, and following your professional conduct.
Mhm.
And it's gonna get you in a place where you can save your life. And also you can save somebody else's life because you're not overreacting off of being terrified. Because you're always afraid. Always afraid. If you're not afraid, you're not normal.
Mhm.
That's all.
Yeah. And plus, man, I mean, you could be like shit. Well, I imagine. In regards to law enforcement, man, you could be Mr. Cool Hand Luke 5 years into the job after somebody then tried to sneak you, the first two, three times. I mean, but the first time that shit happens or whatever, man, there's no amount of training that's that's
No,
that's that's that's, that's going to get you through that situation. You got to burn in that fire.
you got to
You know,
get
it might take,
yeah.
yeah, it might take you a couple of times, you know,
Hmm.
but if you stick to it, eventually you will be able to steal yourself when you need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next. Like I said, we both gave our opinion about the Tyreek Hill stop. I was a little
Mm,
heavy-handed, but just because Jaquari wasn't with me when I spoke about it with Damon, I just wanted to cover it. So, on a lighter note, but not really, Sean Combs situation.
mm,
Him being denied bail, him being, this celebrity. There's always been rumors about him being a closeted homosexual, um, domestic violence rumors now,
mm,
domestic violence, all these different things, right? One thing that I've discovered, and then I'll ask you the question, Kawhi, is whenever something is important going on when it comes to the United States,
mm,
a celebrity is always indicted for something.
mm,
Like we have the elections coming up in November. You know what I'm saying? We have all these different things going on, right? But the news is saturated with what? Sean Combs.
mm,
Saturated with it. Now, this man may be guilty as sin, but there's still war going on in Ukraine,
mm,
right? That we threw about $3 billion into already. The we got the exploding pagers and radios in in
mm,
Palestine. Come on, man. All this movie shit. But it's all like diversions. You feel what I'm saying?
mm,
Um, what is your take? And I'm not gonna get too deep on it, but with Puffy, right?
mm,
Him being accused of being a homosexual, allegedly,
mm,
and supposedly having relations with all these mega stars. They got all the text. He smartest thing he ever did was record. He recorded everything,
mm,
right? What what is your overall impression of it? I think he is a bad person,
mm,
horrible human being. I was not a big fan of his. I just thought he was an entertainer. See, I always look at entertainers certain ways. It is what it is. That's that's the pocket I put them in. I don't put them nowhere else. They
mm,
not my heroes. They can sing, they can rap, they can act.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? That's my entertainment. But other than that, well, ooh, he's the you know he's saving the world and all of that
yeah,
because of
yeah.
his entertainment
Right?
ability. I've never believed in that.
Yeah. He broke the public trust. Even if you didn't see him, as a hero or anything like that. I mean, he's an entertainer, a public face, and human nature would call for everybody in that position, man, to be a trustworthy person, somebody you can leave your kids with,
And they
and
seldom
what? Hmm?
they seldom are.
Yeah, I mean that's anybody. just because somebody sings or dances good doesn't mean that they are more morally equal to you.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Some of the stuff that they said he did
Hmm.
to other men,
Hmm.
to women, they put him under the RICO. Now this is 35 years worth of shit.
Hmm.
So they got VHS tapes. They got they got the damn laser disc,
Micro microfish, all that shit.
all that shit, all the recordings, right?
Hmm.
Then it's coming out about all the baby oil that he purchased for his freak offs. Now we got to hear freak offs. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Then entertainers that we like that he supposedly did the dirty business with. You know what I mean? Men
Hmm.
and women. You feel what I'm saying? And it's
Hmm.
like, what is it? And it's black
Man,
entertainment. It's black entertainment. What do you think it does as it pertains to that? Because it's Tyler Perry who's implicated in that kind of stuff, right? Honestly. Oprah, right? Because of Epstein going to his island. All the major entertainers went to Epstein's
mm,
island, even though Epstein was trafficking all these little young kids. And Puffy was caught up in that whole thing. Not the, what do you think it does to, in your opinion, our community landscape? What it does or what it will do to it if it's the
I think
worst.
I think it. I mean, it only reinforces, the worldview that you can't trust African Americans.
No, but Epstein was worse though, man. You
Yeah, he
can't trust
was.
white people.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
white people out of white people out of,
okay,
we being a minority, man. I mean, our uses to the world were already limited, man. Sports, entertainment, and basically that's it. Now, Sean Combs being a major figurehead in entertainment for like you said 35 years. You know, he was one of the good ones, and
gotcha,
we took him in and we embraced him.
gotcha,
And you see what kind of person he is.
gotcha.
I mean, if the world was realistic, man, and put on they big boy pants and everything, and realized that one person doesn't represent the whole, then it wouldn't affect us at all. But it's
I think it's only they only do that to our community because you gotta think about it. And all my and I hate to say it like this because I'll sound like one. All my white friends out there, when you see this is no disparagement towards you. I'm just making a point right now. God's honest
hmm
truth. Pedophiles,
hmm
majority. As a matter of fact, the pedophiles, the dream job for a pedophile for a long time was a Roman Catholic priest.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Um, Serial killers, majority white folks.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Domestic abusers, majority white folks. But do we judge them and say they ain't no good? But when you switch the word white with black, think about how people see it, how we see
Mhm.
it. That's why I laugh. I kind of laughed when you see when you made the statement that you just can't trust black people. You know what I mean? But
I mean,
really, go ahead.
if you compare situations, man, all right, take Mel Gibson on one hand and take Chris Brown on one hand.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Mel Gibson, if I'm not mistaken, he was accused of domestic violence, right?
At one thing, it was one thing, but it was what the anti-Semitic stuff that
Yeah.
destroyed.
Well, I mean, what? All right,
But go ahead.
give me an example of a white entertainer who was accused of domestic violence and it was proven. Uh, what's that? All right, Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. If Charlie Sheen wasn't sick, he would still have a career.
Yep.
But Chris Brown has had, he had the incident with Rihanna, and we 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 uh we don't have any more use for him. He can't have a career. He can't be seen with with women without certain questions being asked.
Now, bro, let's be honest and give me your response. His career is still flourishing. He
Mhm.
just is not invited to the bigger party. People
Yeah,
love
I
Chris
agree.
Brown, and Chris
I
Brown
agree.
is a millionaire. But the
Hmm.
thing about it is, even though Rihanna gave him just as much, like Chris fought for his life because Chris, they never showed his injuries.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They gave it to both to each other. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm not saying he should get a pass for what he did to her. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying to you this. Um, them hard rockers, I'm talking about the ones we grew up off of, who still
Hmm.
touring, who are millionaires off their oldies but goodies tours right now. Who was
Ain't
that?
made no new music in 30 years.
Look, devil worshiping, druggies. This is publicly known. Druggies,
Hmm.
alcoholics, and domestic abusers. Right?
Right.
It was said about them, but the majority controls the entertainment, and the majority love who they love,
Hmm.
or they give them a second chance. What we
Well, I
do,
mean,
I mean, you got to think about it. What we do is we judge each other hard as well. We don't get it. We don't give each other a second chance
mhm,
because we, as a people, other than the stolen rock and roll, which has died out, kind of, right? We we judge ourselves harder than people judge us. They don't
mhm.
think much about us, right? But what we'll do is this: where you think cancel culture came from? They think it
Yeah,
came from the
Russ.
Weinstein bullshit, white people.
Mhm,
No, it's black. What I said was, what I think is, black folks started saying we need to cancel him.
mhm,
Meaning, look, let's not fuck with him no more. Let's not fuck with his music, his entertainment, whatever entertainment value he had. Let's not fuck with it no more. Which is not possible, but it's embarrassing to those folks.
mhm.
The cancel culture is embarrassing.
Okay. Now, just to change the color of the conversation a little bit, let me ask you this question: do you know any people who would publicly admit to still being R. Kelly fans? I know several people
That's
who
real.
still
That's real.
admit to being R. Kelly fans,
Yep.
but wouldn't piss on Chris Brown if he was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Real.
wrong is wrong, crime is crime, man. I'm not being, an apologist for either person, man. But how long ago did the thing with, the situation with Chris Brown and Rihanna happen? And he's still, he's basically, an 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 underground artist. But you can't say that for R. Kelly.
It's real because you know what, his music catalog is gigantic
It's fucking huge, man.
and
It's
and
huge,
great
and it's
songs.
good,
Yeah.
good music, yeah. And
But see, he wants to be. His thing is he took it too personally because he started messing with the drugs, what he publicly admits, right? He started messing
mhm,
with the drugs. Then he was a gangbanger. Now he a tough guy. I
mhm.
mean, if y'all say fuck me, then I'm gonna say fuck you. Then this is what I'm doing. His knee jerk
he
reaction to things, basically,
he
and,
was a
and, and,
kid. He was
and
a kid who had
especially
him.
whether or not he is a druggie, but he is trying to be on that tough guy shit. You feel what I'm saying?
But
Because
was that before? But was that before or after the situation? It was
after,
after because
after
he
that's what I
didn't he
said.
didn't he didn't have any safe shores, man,
That's what I
and
said.
they accepted him.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. Now him being a gang member, what he is he not a hardcore gang member. He actually pays his dues. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So he pays for protection, I think. But yeah, I'm with you with that, man. You know what I mean? It's a double. It's really a double standard, right? But what you said earlier about people still on that, I love R. Kelly, blah 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 blah. They still do it to this day. But you know what's so
Mhm.
crazy about it is, I listen to lyrics, man. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And you listening to R. Kelly and just do yourself a favor. Some of his greatest love ballads. Listen to what he says. And this is something I'm just pulling out the air, but I'm just trying to give you an example. When he was talking about the only song that I'm like, yo, that's the shit was I Believe I Can Fly,
Hmm.
right? But R. Kelly will hit you with some really straight up poetic. The first couple lines of the of a little stance, poetic as shit. Then you say, I love you like my Jeep. This, you know what I'm saying? It's like immature, juvenile mixed with, you know what I mean? That's what people kind of block out the juvenile shit in his song because
Hmm.
he says some beautiful shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are you kind of worshiping this guy? And this has nothing to do with him, being a damn cult leader. Has nothing to do with that. I'm just talking about how people are so caught up on his songs. It's hard for me to. It was hard for me to take him seriously.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you dispute me, listen to his lyrics in every song. Because great songs, great ballads, the lyrics flow all the way through.
Hmm.
With R. Kelly, they flow to a point that his immaturity is you know what I'm saying? It's like he's speaking to eighth graders, and then he'll go back to the beauty of the lyrics again. I just
That's just
I can't vibe with that.
yeah, that's just pandering to his audience. I mean, that's just
I get it, I get it. But the majority of his fans are women. But look, this has been a great conversation. And Jaquari and myself was freestyling today, just talking and just
Mhm.
speaking our mind. I hope you guys enjoyed the people who tuned in on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're here every Friday at 7:30. You know, and Damon, get well. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? Get well. It's that COVID. Get well, man. Clear out your system. And and hopefully we'll see you next week and be calling to check on you, brother. Love you, man. Any last words, Jaquari?
Just yeah, I think it's a good show, man. And I hope that everybody enjoys their weekend. You know, may it be restful enough for you to continue your journey Monday, man.
And I concur. Have a beautiful weekend. Be blessed. When you wake up in the morning, guys, do yourself a favor because it has done wonders for me. When you pray to God, invite him into your day. Ask him, invite him into your day to walk with you into your day. Believe me, it does wonders. It really and truly does. It gives you confidence, and also you receive answers on how you should be moving throughout your day. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe, and do yourself a favor. Fuck with us before we blow up. It's not that we're gonna hold it against you. What it is you ain't gonna be able to enjoy it as much you can because you kept holding out until you was able when you saw that wagon coming with the band on
Hmm.
top of it and you jumped on that motherfucker.
Yeah, it was basically fuck with us while you can touch us.
Fuck with us. Hey, look, go like, share, and subscribe. And you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. This is a Strong Perspective podcast.